So, I figured me and you, Brain, we could read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Frankenstein. Frankenstein. Chapter 1. Captain Walton's Letters. My camera just fell. This is Seville, England. St. Petersburg, Russia, December 11th. I am already far north of London. I enjoy walking in the streets to Petersburg. I feel a cold northern breeze play upon my cheeks. It both chills me and fills me with delight. My daydreams about reaching the North Pole are now more exciting and clear. I do not believe that the North Pole is a place of frost and emptiness. I believe it is a place of beauty and delight. Think of the wonders that await me. I will see a part of the world which has never been visited before, and walk upon a land which has never been touched by man. I am so excited that I have no fear of danger or death. That sounds crazy. I feel only joy, like a child feels when he sets out in a little boat with his friends on a stream. I don't know kids nowadays that just go out on boats with their friends. To think, dear sister, that I will be the first man to discover a route to the North Pacific Ocean. What knowledge will I bring to mankind? 6 years have passed since I decided to make this journey. It has been a dream of mine since I was very young. And now, dear Margaret, do I not deserve to accomplish some great purpose? I could have spent my life in luxury, but I preferred glory instead of wealth. I will leave for the northern town of Archangel in 2 or 3 weeks. I do not intend to sail for the North Pole until the month of June. When will I return? Ah, dear sister, how can I answer this question? If I succeed, many months perhaps, years will pass before you and I meet again. If I fail, you will see me again soon, or never. Farewell, my dear Margaret. May heaven shower blessings upon you. Your loving brother, R. Walton. Ooh. Man's on a mission. So it looks like it's really, really cold in this picture. And the man that was writing the letter, R. Walton, he's this guy here. Looks like a couple of sailors getting ready to set sail. To Mrs. Salvey, England, Archangel, March 28th. So he said he was going to leave from Archangel. The time passes slowly here, where we are surrounded by frost and snow. I have hired a ship and am busy hiring sailors, but I am lonely. I have no true friend here, no one who is courageous, intelligent, and whose tastes are like my own. Well, these are useless complaints. I will find no friend on the wide ocean. I will leave as soon as the weather improves. The winter has been terrible, but spring is expected to come early. I may sail sooner than I had hoped. I love you very much. If you never hear from me again, think of me with affection. Your loving brother, Robert Walton. This time he's wrote his name, so his name's Robert Walton. To Mrs. Salvey, England, July 7th. My dear sister, I am safe and had made progress on my voyage. We have already sailed to the icy north. It is the middle of summer, but of course it is not as warm as it is in England. Goodbye, my dear Margaret. I will be careful, I promise you, but I will be successful. Why not? Nothing can stop the determined will of man. May heaven bless you, R.W. To Mrs. Salvey, England, August 5th. A very strange accident has happened to us. Last Monday we were almost surrounded by ice and a very thick fog. This was far too dangerous for travel, so we stopped the ship, hoping for a change in the weather. About 2 o'clock the mist cleared away. All around us we saw great sheets of ice that seemed to have no end. Some of the sailors groaned, even I began to worry. Suddenly, we saw a strange sight. A sled pulled by dogs was moving toward the north about a half a mile from our ship. A dog being pulled by a sled? What? A thing which was shaped like a man, but gigantic in size, guided the dogs. We watched the traveler with our telescopes for some time. This filled us with wonder, since we were many hundred miles from any land. We wanted to follow him, but we were shut in by the ice. There's the man, the mysterious man, and the dogs. I don't see the ship. Before night, the ice broke and our ship was free. We stayed where we were until the morning, however. We did not want to risk hitting those large chunks of ice in the dark. In the morning, I found all the sailors busy on one side of the ship, talking to someone in the sea. There was a sled, like the one we had seen before, which had drifted on a slab of ice. Only one dog was alive, but there was a human being on the sled. The sailors were trying to get him to come aboard our ship. When I appeared on deck, the first mate said, "Here is our captain. He will not allow you to die on the open sea." The stranger spoke English with a foreign accent. "Before I come on board," he said, "will you kindly tell me where you are headed?" I could not believe he needed to know where we were going. If he stayed on his sled, he would die. I replied that we are on a voyage of discovery towards the North Pole. The man agreed to come on board. Good God, Margaret, if you could have seen the man who had almost refused our help, your surprise would have been endless. His limbs nearly frozen, and he was terribly thin. This man must have been really afraid of something. Did not want to get on the ship. He was about to die. I took him to my cabin to care for him. 2 days passed before he was able to speak. I never seen a more interesting man. His eyes seem wild and sometimes crazed, but if anyone is kind to him, his whole face lights up. Most often he is depressed and miserable. When my lieutenant asked him why he had come so far on the ice, he instantly seemed sad. He replied, "To seek one who fled from me." Did this man travel in the same way? Yes. Then I believe we have seen him, said the lieutenant. The day before we picked you up, we saw some dogs pulling a sled with a man in it. The stranger became very excited. He asked questions about the route which the demon, as he called him, had taken. Later he said to me, "I know I have made you curious." "Of course," I said, "but it would be very rude to trouble you with any questions of mine." He asked if I thought the breaking up of the ice had destroyed the other sled. I replied that the ice had not broken until near midnight, and that traveler might have reached a safe place before that time. Since then, the stranger has been filled with a new spirit of life. He wants to be on deck to watch for the other sled, but he is far too weak for this. I have promised that someone will let him know immediately if any new objects appear. I said in one of my letters that I would not find a friend on the ocean. Now I have found a man who I would be happy to call my friend. August 13th. My guest has recovered from his illness. He is constantly on the deck watching for the other sled. We often talk about my dreams and goals. I told him that I would give up my money and my life to complete this voyage. I told him I believe that one man's life is a small price to pay for knowledge and power. Unhappy man, the stranger said in horror. Do you share my madness? Have you drunk of the same poison? Let me share my tale with you. You will knock that cup from your lips. But he was weak from this outburst and could not go on. Later he said, but we are different. You have hope and the world before you, but I have lost everything and cannot begin life anew. And the shape of, August 19th. Yesterday the stranger said to me, I decided that my memories should die with me, but you have convinced me to change my mind. Captain Walton, I see that you are about to suffer the same dangers. I think that you may learn a lesson from my tale. I may help you if you succeed on your voyage, or it may comfort you if you fail. Prepare to hear about strange events. He then told me that he would begin his story the next day. I have decided, dear Margaret, to write down in the evenings what he has told me during the day. I am sure that this manuscript will give you great pleasure, and I will read it with great interest on some future day. How strange and disturbing must be his story. How frightful must be the storm that has toasted his soul. Tossed. Toasted. Toasted. Tossed. His soul. That gallant ship, and wrecked it so. Ooh. Alright, so Captain Walton got a ship. He's been writing his sister. Saw some giant guy on a sled with some dogs. And then the next day, he found this man who was almost dead and wasn't sure if he wanted to get on the ship. And he said he has a very, very, very powerful story that he's going to share with the captain. And the captain's going to write it down and send it to his sister. So yeah, chapter 1.